Hello! Happy Halloween, everybody! Welcome back, you guys, to the final day of Inktober. I'm glad it's relatively cool out today because I don't know how long I'm going to be able to stay in this costume. But this is my final piece for Inktober, day 9, and for day 9 we are doing demons. And this one's really cute. My Discord members actually helped me pick this one out, and this is demons on a ski trip because, of course, demons come from a very, very hot place, and a ski trip is a very, very cold place. It's a nice, simple one. I decided to leave it for last specifically because I wanted to end on like a nice, relaxing note. I didn't want to stress myself out too much over this, but I did want to lend some ambiance to the spooky atmosphere today. If you guys don't know, I love candles. Can you see this is my candle collection behind me. I don't know how much of that you could really see, and I only have a very small portion of it lit right now. But I was editing the video for the blackout the other day, and I thought the dark, like, spooky atmosphere looked very cool. So I decided to go back to it for today's Inktober. Thankfully, I do have a fan today, so I can keep a little bit cooler than that day, but this costume is also very hot, so we'll see. Anyway, let's hop right into this one. So this is gonna be another very organic piece. Not a lot of straight lines in this one. We do have the slope going all the way down, but that's about it. So we're not gonna need our ruler for this one. And I think what I'm just gonna do, I wanna have a little bit of a ramp for the snowboarder to be jumping off of. So I'm just gonna put that right in the middle. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna bring this up ever so slightly because I want some room down here for our little ski guy. And I'm just gonna let my pencil kind of flow where it wants to. I think that's good. I'm not a snow sport enjoyer, personally. Last time I went skiing, I think I cried. It's really scary when you don't know what you're doing. It's a very difficult sport to learn, I've found. I'm gonna do the same thing I did with my werewolf piece and actually kind of put in a couple little blobs here where I want my demons to go. This is gonna be another piece where they're probably gonna end up pretty small, but I'm gonna try and make them as visible as possible. This is kind of making me want to bring the slope in just a little. There we are. It's gonna be some trees in the background. I get to do my pine tree technique one last time. That's probably my favorite thing that I've figured out how to do this Inktober, is that fun pine tree, like swiping the micron pen so it looks like branches. Really happy with that. Got this little buddy right here who's going to be looking up at the other one. The difficult part of this piece, I think, is going to be making them look like demons because they're going to be almost completely covered in ski gear. So I think maybe adding some hooved feet. So, because I've got horns, pointed ears, and a tail. And I think maybe adding some cloven feet might tie it off. But then how do you attach cloven feet to a pair of skis? That's the interesting part. Should I just not give them ski pants, do we think? If I do the cloven hooves, then they're gonna have like fur on their legs anyway. So maybe I don't need to cover their legs with ski pants. I don't think that's a horrible idea. This costume is already getting really hot. All right, there's our one little guy. And now we gotta do the guy that's in the air, which is gonna be a lot more difficult. I wanna start with his snowboard. And this is the one I'm really gonna need a reference for, so I'm just gonna rough this in to start, and then I'll speed through refining everything. He's doing a cool like kick flip or something, whatever you call this. Now I'm not really sure how the legs are supposed to be tucked up. Again, I'll go back over all this with a reference and get everything looking correct. There we go, there's our guy. I feel like he's too high. I feel like he's too like upwards towards the top of the paper. Yeah, he definitely needs to be a lot closer to our other guy. That sucks. I actually kind of liked that. Downside of traditional drawing is you don't have a lasso tool where you can just move something. So I think what I'll do is I'll put his board a lot closer to the slope. All right, hood's coming off. And I think I'm gonna take an arm out approach because that's what I did for the thumbnail and I really liked it. His whole pose and his little expression in the thumbnail, I think that looks really good. And I'm really just trying to recreate that. See, but he feels like he's too crouched to the board. I thought this was gonna be an easy one, but I'm sensing that it's gonna give me a bit of trouble. Yeah, now that doesn't look quite as expressive as the other one that I did. But he is closer to the other character, which I think was necessary. All right, I think I'm gonna speed through refining this, maybe take a break from this costume for a little bit, and I will be right back here with the finished sketch, okay? Bye. There's a teeny tiny little spider on my canvas. Do you see that? That's a little spider. Sir? Oh, there he goes. Yeah, I need you to scooch along, please. We don't need you here. It's Halloween. It's a nice Halloween surprise. Thank you, but I really don't need you on my canvas. Okay, bye-bye. I'm back with the finished sketch for you. And it looks like we've got our classic foreground, middle ground, background piece again. This lower area was definitely missing something when I finished off the sketch, so I decided to put in some more pine trees, and then I just put a couple more in here to kind of balance it out. But that means we're gonna be doing the characters and the midground in the black pen again. The foreground and the background are going to be in the dark gray pen. And then I think I'll do a couple of these background trees, like the far background trees. I'll do those in the light gray pen, kind of the opposite of the werewolf piece. So we're gonna start, as always, with our main subjects here. I hope you guys saw how many times I redid this snowboarding demon on the speed through. He was giving me some trouble, but I finally found a reference that I think really helped me sort of nail his pose. But also because these guys are not exactly proportionate to human beings, I've kind of chibified them a little bit. It was hard to squash him into the correct position, but I definitely think it worked out in the end. Also, all the snowboarding and skiing references that I found actually had the participants in really tight-fitting clothing, which, thinking about it, is definitely better for aerodynamics if you're like a professional skier, I guess. But I wanted these guys to look really cozy, like they're all bundled up for winter. It was actually a toss-up for the layout of this piece, whether or not I wanted to do them actually skiing, or if I was gonna do an indoor scene of them in a ski lodge having a hot cocoa or something. But I went for the ski slopes because I've really been enjoying doing the outdoor scenes, and I wanted to do another one. That, and I kind of wanted to take it easy for my last day of Inktober, and the thought of drawing the inside of a ski lodge was a little daunting. Tails are really difficult because they're so skinny. Hard to keep the lines looking even. I'll tell you, I am really excited to go back to digital art, but at the same time I feel like I'm gonna miss this. I want to try and kind of keep up with doing traditional art throughout the year, especially now that I have this setup. I showed it in my Inktober setup vlog, but I usually have a steamer chest that goes here that holds all my art supplies. And I was planning on putting that back here, but I kind of really like having a designated traditional art area. So I don't know. Not really sure what the plan is right now with that. Oh, I've been dreading drawing this snowboard. It's so long and straight. And long straight lines are the enemies of artists everywhere. All right, it's really wobbly, but it's fine. I was debating what kind of design I wanted to put on the bottom of the snowboard because I wanted to put something cool and resembling of demons. I was thinking about a pentagram for a while, but I really wanted to put a pitchfork in here somehow. My initial thought was to make the ski poles that this guy was holding into pitchforks, but I couldn't really figure out how to do that and make it still look like ski poles. So I decided to put it on the bottom of the snowboard instead. I think it works out. I think it looks pretty cool. You definitely get the vibe. All right, hood off, getting hot. This I'm sure isn't helping. All right, moving on to this guy. I didn't really put much of an effort to make these guys distinct from each other. I gave them a different type of jacket, but that's about it. This guy's wearing more of a sweater and this guy's got the big puffy jacket. I think that's fine though. It's hard to tell anyone apart when they're skiing anyway, especially if you don't have colors to work with. Everyone's just a big puffy ball of warm clothing. I wanted to give at least one of them the big puffy Michelin Man jacket because I think they're very funny. Second chance at drawing the tail. Redeem myself a little here. Okay, I think that one was a little better actually. I didn't really bother to look up exactly how skis are supposed to connect because again, this is not a human foot that's on the ski. So I figured what's the harm in just kind of making it up. And the only thing I could really think of is just to put a little strap over the hoof. Got more long straight lines. I think those might be a little smoother than the snowboard though. Alrighty, those guys are all finished. Let me just draw in the slopes here and just kind of letting my pen do whatever it wants on these because I want to get as much of that rough snow texture as possible. There we go. All right, I'm gonna speed through drawing the rest of the background and I will come back here for coloring and shading. See you in a bit. I gave up. You'll still get the cat makeup, but I gave up on the costume. It's so hot. Like every time I do the speed through and I take the costume off, it's just such a relief. So the rest of this video will be without the costume. I might put it on for the outro though. Anyway, line art's all finished, which means it's time to break out the brushes for the last time. Well, technically not the last time. Just a quick reminder that even though this is going to be the last Inktober video that goes up on YouTube, I am doing 2 Patreon exclusive videos and artworks. You're gonna be able to find those on my Patreon under the Content Fiend tier for the artwork and the Video Star tier for the video. But more on that at the end of this video. I just realized I didn't do any cross-hatching on this character, and I did do some on this character, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of hatching in here in places that it would make sense, just to make sure that they're a little more matching. I'm not gonna go too overboard because obviously if it doesn't need it, it doesn't need it. And it's just gonna make it look crowded and muddy. But I'm just gonna put a little bit, just a little bit in, just so that they kind of match a little. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start with, actually the first thing I wanna do is the tracks in the snow that the snowboard and the skis made. And I'm gonna do that with the light gray. I'm just gonna do little swipe, just all the way up here, just to kind of make a trail for where they were. Same with this one, put a little curve in there. And I just wanted to put that in, one, obviously to mark their trail, but more importantly, with all the trees and the details going on the rest of the canvas, this upper area was definitely going to look really unfinished. So I wanted to make sure there was a little something there. All right, and then I think I'll just start coloring stuff in that needs to be colored. I think I'm going to color in the fur on their legs, just leaving a little bit of like a highlight space at the top. But I am using the same like rapid strokes technique to kind of make it look a little furry, using the streakiness of the pens to my advantage. Same thing on this guy. And then I think the hooves are actually going to be the dark gray color, just the whole bottom of the leg. Because these are demons, they're not just goat people. I do want them to be kind of like as dark and demonic as possible, even though they're having such a good time on their ski trip. The gloves are going to be that same gray just to reflect the feet, kind of make it look like their hands might be hooves too, I guess. It's really hard to use the brushes on these small characters, actually. I don't know if anything on here needs to be black, so I think I might just set the black brush aside for the time being. Although, what if I do like the very tip of the tail black? Let's see if there's any other part of the demons that I want like pitch black before I do that. Because if that's gonna be the only thing that's black, I think it might stand out a little weird. It's actually still really hot in here, even not wearing the cat costume. And I think that's just because I live in California. It's gonna be hot no matter what season it is. I was explaining last video, we did just have like our first full cold front that was just so nice. But unfortunately, we do still have a couple more hot days before we get into the cold season. Oh, I do want to do the same thing on their ski goggles that I did with the vampire's sunglasses. Color them in with the dark gray and then just leave little white spaces to kind of show a reflection. Because especially with ski goggles, those are super reflective. So I want to make sure that shows up nice and clear. There we go. Yeah, that looks good. I think I'm gonna color this guy's hat in and give his scarf some stripes. And then I'm gonna give this guy's hat stripes. And you guessed it, colored in his scarf. And that'll hopefully give them the semblance of a little bit more individuality. I don't know what to do with this guy's shirt though, is the problem. Should I try and do maybe like a cable knit sweater? Kind of using the same technique that I did for the hat on the vampire. I'm gonna try it. Oh man, this brush is really dry. You know, I'm not too mad about it. It's definitely like a chunky knit if we're able to see it this clearly, this far away. But I think it works. I think it's kind of cool. Oh, that's actually really cool. I really like that. I'm glad I did that. Alrighty, I think first thing I'm gonna do is kind of color in this snowbank over here. I'm not gonna color it in all the way. I'm just gonna use the light gray to kind of separate it a little bit from the hill that they're skiing on. Not sure if I like that or not. Oh no. Oh my God, you can see how much I'm sweating. Hang on. Oh, this is exactly why I keep emergency makeup in my studio. All right. I think I want to start with the trees in the very, very back. The ones that are gonna go with the lighter gray color. Just kind of God, they look really dark, and I'm really hoping that by the time I color in the trees that are closer to the foreground, those ones will be dark enough to make these look a little lighter. I think it's just the white snow is making everything look really dark by comparison. You know what? I need to speed through this, actually, because this is the last little bit of the piece, is just coloring in the trees. I think I'll speed through and just sort of finish everything off, and then I'll come back here with the final piece, okay? See you soon. Hi guys, welcome back. So something I just realized while I was working on the background, because I was noticing that the snowboarding guy up here was blending into the background, and I realized I never did the like dark outline around them that I've been doing for all my characters so far. And then I realized I didn't do that for the vampire piece either. So kind of bummed I forgot about that, because I do want all these pieces to match. I did end up putting black in the tails and the horns, by the way, just to make sure that they stand out against the background. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the thick line art on these guys that I forgot to do for the vampire piece. Debating whether or not I want to go back and add that detail to the vampire piece, because the video is already finished and edited. Oh, already getting hot. I gotta switch to this guy because I started outlining on the wrong side on that guy. I don't want to smudge it. Anyway, the video for the vampire piece is already edited and scheduled to post, so I don't know if I'm gonna go back and fix that. Maybe I'll just fix it on the Instagram post, but I won't fix it in the video. Because I want, at the very least, all the Instagram posts to be uniform. But I like this little black outline. I think it makes the characters look a little bit more like my style, because I do this for a lot of my pieces. I also realized halfway through doing all the trees that I really should have put some snow on them before coloring them in, but I had already gotten most of them done at that point, so it would have looked weird to only have snow on half of them. I'm bummed about that too. I think that would have been a really cool touch. But either way, I still think this piece turned out pretty cool. Really happy with this guy's jacket. I love the puffy jacket. Did I do the black outline for the alien piece? I really can't remember now. I think I did. But yeah, it looks so much better. It makes him like stand out and gets your focus directly on that character. And I think it's really gonna help with this guy because he's right up against the dark pine trees. There we go. All right, I think we're done. Oh, let's put the costume back on for our outro here. Start carefully taking this tape off because I've been having some issues with it these past couple of pieces. Look at that beautiful line. I love when I get a bunch of dark ink right up against the tape so I can see that really satisfying crisp line. Gorgeous. Careful, careful, careful. It's always the top one. The top piece of tape always screws me. There we go. Thank you again to the commenter that suggested I tape down the corners first, because it actually has helped immensely. She's free. All right, guys, there is the final piece of Inktober 2023. Oh, wait a minute. Gotta be in costume. And with that, this YouTube series is over. I could not feel more accomplished right now. I'm so happy that I got those 9 pieces done. As a reminder, there are going to be an additional 2 more Inktober pieces, including the real-time process videos and the speed draws on my Patreon. Those are going to be Patreon exclusives. You can find the full piece under the Content Fiend tier, and if you do want to see the video, you can find that under the Video Star tier. Those are going to be posting this next Saturday and Tuesday following the Inktober scheduling. If you want to see this piece in full, you can also find it on my Instagram. And if you want to see more of me, I go live on Twitch every Tuesday and Friday. We do art and games over there. In fact, today is Tuesday and I need to go live in a few minutes here, so I gotta speed through this. I will also be posting a speed drawing of this video to my TikTok and YouTube Shorts. That's posting the same time that this video is, so go check those out as well. I know I've already mentioned it a couple times, but if you want to support me and my content in the absolute best way possible, you can find me on Patreon. You can support me there for as little as $1 a month and get exclusive content for as little as $3 a month. And once again, that is the only place that you're going to be able to find the 2 Patreon exclusive Inktober pieces that are posting there. Thank you so much to all my Patreons. You really help me more than you could possibly know. And last but not least, make sure you subscribe to this channel so you can find your way back for the next video. I am going to be taking a break for the first Tuesday in November, but I should be back to regular posting every Tuesday starting the second Tuesday of November. And thank you to everyone on this YouTube channel who's stuck with me through this process, who've watched my whole Inktober, who've commented on my videos. You guys mean the world to me. You have no idea. I love you guys so much. I hope you had a wonderful October and happy Halloween. Bye.